Hello! And good time zone. And what is up, gamers? Hi, everybody. Welcome in. Sorry I'm late. I had a bit of a catastrophe with my tea on the way here. And it took a bit more finagling than I was expecting it to. But, oh, now I've got hiccups. Great. Just in time for going live, I've got hiccups. No! Okay, well, I'm going to try and get those in check. But hi, everybody. Welcome into the stream. Hello, hello. It's lovely to see you. Happy Monday. Hope you all had good weekends. Hope you're having good Mondays. Happy Monday, Espy. Hello, Theo. Welcome on in. How are you doing? Let me just catch up with everybody if I can. For some unknown reason, Twitch does not want me to be able to scroll chat across two different machines, no less. So I don't know what's up with Twitch's chat scroll, but it sucks at the moment, and I don't know why. It's just, there's a little scrolly bit that you should be able to click on, and it almost immediately disappears every time. Anyways, hello, Turnip. Welcome in. Hello, Theo. Welcome in. I hope you are well. I hope you're having wonderful times. Thank you for the honk, the many honk redeems. Thank you for the lurk, Turnip. Hope you have a lovely, lovely lurk. Yeah, hi, everybody. Welcome in. It's lovely to see you, and welcome. Apparently, I can scroll down fine. It just has a connection if I try and scroll up. Like, what's up with that? The little cursory thing that you use that you drag up and down so you can go up and down your chat, it just vanishes and I can't click on anything. Twitch, why? Why are you like this? Why do you want me to suffer? It's like Twitch wants me to be a bad fail streamer. I don't know. Maybe it's just me and I'm just clueless about something really obvious that I'm not getting. Please don't address me in the third person and tell me why I'm doing something wrong. That makes me stressed and sad. Anyways, hi everybody, welcome in. It is so good to see y'all. It's wonderful to be here. And, wouldn't you know it, I couldn't decide what I wanted to do. But I'm in one of those, I'm working on one of these doodads where there's going to be a lot of like flowers and stuff in this little gardenscape. And I've been trying to figure out how I want to do that. Like, I've done this sort of, like, underpainting here, and I'm going to be putting flowers and foliage and what have you on top of that. But figuring out the actual, like, ins and outs of how to do that and have it look not bad, is eluding my brain. I don't know. Typically, like, my brain wants to work sort of from back to front, but then if I do that, and the things in front are transparent enough, then you can see through them, the things that I'd already painted behind them, because we're working with a transparent medium, and that would be bad. So, I'm gonna brainstorm on that for a bit, and I'm just gonna do a little warm-up piece, which I don't do very often. But, weirdly enough, I've been feeling kind of inspired by, like, Hollow Knight stuff in the last week or so. Gee, I wonder why that might be. And I thought it might be fun to just do a little hornet. So I'm just gonna have her running through some kind of stylized little landscape. It's not gonna be Silksong spoilers or anything because I'm not working off of like a screen cap of the like 3 seconds of footage we have or anything like that. I'm just goofing around. But I thought I might just insert her into a nice little landscape, and why not? Is it because Silksong is definitely coming out this year? Supposedly it's definitely coming out this year. My uncle works at Nintendo and he said that it is, so it must be true. Anyways, Turnip has emerged from Lurk just to say, Sha! Thank you for the Sha. Very much appreciated. Sha indeed. I think my favorite Hornet saying is probably, though actually, no, I was gonna say it's Garama, because that was just really fun to say, but actually I think my favorite is just haha. I like when she does a little chuckle. I think that's really cute. I like when you're like fighting her and she just does a little like haha. Like she does a giggle because she's having fun. This is a good time. You know, she's all dramatic and stuff when you're talking to her. You know, I'm not sure you're ready for this little ghost. But then when you're doing like a fight and you're doing a good job and she's fighting back, she's like, this is great. Good job. I'm having a nice time sparring with you, you stupid little ding dong. I appended the phrase "you stupid little ding dong" because obviously she is your elder sibling, and therefore she's probably gonna call you things like "you stupid little ding dong" because that's what elder siblings do. I mean, my elder sibling called me Mad Dog, so I don't know how I got that. I think honestly, I think he gave me that. I think he gave me that nickname like ironically because it's the least appropriate nickname for me. And it's just stuck. He's still just like, "Hey, Mad Dog." Anyways, I don't think I've ever called him by his real name like in our adult lives. It's always stupid variations on his name that like no one would ever use, and or just like brother or hermano, and that's about it. Anyways, Viakadu, hello, welcome in. Says Egale. Very, very true. Oh my god, so true, bestie. SB says Silksong is an unreleased thing. I thought it was part of the soundtrack in the game already. My friend, it's gonna be a whole ass game. It's gonna be a whole ass game. We haven't played it yet. It's coming out sometime this year. Was wondering why everybody was making a big deal about it during the direct. That's because it's a whole ass game. It's an entire game. There's gonna be a whole game of it. At least I assume so. That's certainly what they're marketing it as. I am excited. I really hope that it's not. Now, it was announced in the Nintendo Direct, and I know we've joked about this, but just imagine if it was a timed exclusive on the Switch too. I'm pretty sure the absolute incandescent rage of the fandom would not allow that to happen. That's the April Fool, says Viakadu. But it can't be an April Fool's. It can't be. It was too late for that. If they'd announced it on April 1st, I would have cried. It's only a soundtrack release. I mean, that being said, I love the music of the original game so much that I would love to have more of it, but oh my god, no. There is no April Fools. We're getting a ding-dang game. Here's some paints. I'm just gonna use the same paints that I'm using for the other painting for this, and this is gonna be a very quick, very sketchy little warm-up, because, I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I also just want to, I guess I just want to speed run out some Silksong adjacent fan art while it's relevant, because it's on my mind at the moment. Anyways, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. Okay. I'm going to start with an underpainting of this, like, indigo color, just because it's nice. Actually, I'm gonna not do that. Oh, I'm so sorry. I hit the microphone by mistake. I'm gonna not do precisely that. What I am gonna do, in the name of just a little bit of additional visual flavor and interest, I'm gonna drop a portion of indigo, but also some of this patina in places. This patina color in places to give it a little bit more vibrancy behind it. I think that could be fun. I think that could be very fun, actually. All right. Okay. And I don't really have a plan for this. I'm gonna mute the mic for a second to blow my nose because I'm very snuffy and I realize it's probably not super fun to listen to. So 1 moment, please. Oh, okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Oh, yikes! Not cool. Not cool at all. Okay. Which of these colors do I want to start with? I think I'm gonna just I have no plan here. I'm just gonna blob. Just gonna do some blobbiting. This is really not sitting. This is doing that thing where it slightly wants to like resist a bit in places. Which is weird. It doesn't normally do that, this paint, I mean. But I have no major direction or strong feelings about where color is going here. I'm just kind of just popping some color in until it's all filled up. And we'll see how that ends up looking. Will this be a mistake? It doesn't matter. This is very much just like a sketch. So I don't want to be too precious about it. I just kind of want to do something that I can just start and finish like really fast. Because that's really fun. I do, if you've followed along through like previous Hollow Knight art months that I've participated in, which has historically taken place over the month of May. I believe that our friend of the channel, Kirsty, is hosting it again this year, which is like a prompt list of Hollow Knight related words, and you can do artworks inspired by thems. I've used a lot more sort of interesting underpaintings to try and capture the vibe of the different environments in the game, and the way that they're just sort of like the way that they've been arted out, which I think is so lovely and so very cool. And so that I find that that's a really effective way to kind of capture that that vibe in like watercolor and stuff. I'm hoping that these are still wet enough that they can kind of blend into each other rather than having like a hard water line where one of them is dried. I decided not to do like wet on wet for this because I want to finish it a little bit more quickly than that, and if it's wet on wet it's just going to take way too long to dry. So I kind of don't want to deal with that. I just want to I want to speed run some Skong art, that's all. Or some Skong inspired art, I guess. Cuz it's not strictly something from Silksong, it's just the vibe. Because I'm still feeling the hype a little bit, and I thought it'd be nice to do. We need more grub art by you, says Theo. Oh man, I mean, I guess if Hollow Knight art is happening, Hollow Knight Art Month is happening, and I do believe that it is, and if it is, I will be led by whatever's on the prompt list, but hopefully the prompt list will have something that will allow me to incorporate grubbies, because I love grubbies. I think grubbies are very fun to do art of. They're very cute. I did one, I think last year or the year before, I can't remember, but I have done some art of one of the little grubbies. I love rescuing grubbies in the game. I love I can't, like, I'm I'm doing a speed run of the game in my Friday game streams at the moment, but I can't ignore the cries of a grub in danger. I have to go rescue them if I can, even if it shaves precious seconds to minutes off of my total time. I can't just ignore a grub in need. That's just, I couldn't do it. I can't do it. So I won't do it. Anyways. But, yeah, okay, so a bit of sort of an abstract, blobbity background here. I could use a little bit more of the indigo paint, actually, because I've kind of run out. Okay. But, hopefully this will look okay. And I just smudged it up at the top, which is super awesome, but again, this is just a little sketchy, so I'm not super concerned. I drew little Miss Hornet very quickly. I made the mistake of doing a Google image search for like reference pictures of Hornet from the game, which I don't recommend unless you want to see. I would say like I just looked up like a Hollow Knight Hornet or Silksong Hornet, and that was my image search. And I would say within the first, like, 10 results, I had at least one or two artworks where it was just, it's Hornet from Hollow Knight and Silksong, but she's got big booba. And some of them were a little more safe for work than others, but oof. And I you know, no, absolutely no shame to the people making spicy art of whatever they want to, but that's not really how I think about the game. So it's not really my preferred, not really my preferred inspirational imagery if I'm trying to draw a picture of Hornet. Because, yeah. But, I mean, again, it's that, I can't remember which rule number it is, but it's one of, like, the classical rules of the internet that if it exists, somebody has made, not safe for work fan art of it. And, I mean, I'm not immune to this. I have made not safe for, Rule 34 says, Theo, I have made artwork that is not safe for work. I have commissioned artwork that is spicy. Technically work safe, but I thought it was spicy. And it was beautiful. Anyways. I actually did that quite recently. I do try and commission my fellow artistes when I am able to do so. So I try and get like a couple commissions a year from other artists because it's good to support each other. And my God, some people are vastly underpricing their like skill levels and time, which really upsets me. So, but will I kick them some money for scandalous Sammy art? Says SB. I mean, it's not that scandalous. It's on my Instagram and my Blue Sky. Though I think on Instagram, because they're quite, at least I think it's on Blue Sky. Yes, I believe it is. But anyways, it's definitely on my Instagram. On the first slide, I just pixelated the nudity bits, but I would consider it artistic nudity, but yes, I can't show you on stream. But actually, I suppose I can show you the work safe version of it. So hold on, let me find it because it's very funny. I mean, obviously it's me, so like it's not sexy. It's very funny. I mean you might like no comment, but it's gonna bother me if I don't find it now. But at least I'm pretty sure that it's on Instagram, so I'm just having a little look. See, I think it's from like a couple of years ago, maybe. Making my way back through the last Hollow Knight art month, so it must have been before then. But when was she? When was she? It must have been, was it the year before that? Ah, beans, okay. Anyways, if you do like Hollow Knight stuff, I do have a section of Hollow Knight, limited edition art prints in my shop, and I do still have a few available, if that's the kind of thing that you're into. I realize I don't think I hashtagged this stream with Hollow Knight, so the Hollow Knight enjoyers may not be here in numbers, but, just in case. Oh, this is taking longer to find than I thought. Maybe I didn't. Maybe it was forcibly removed. Oh no, here it is. Here it is. Yes, it is. It is on my Instagram. Hold up. Okay, when I say Twitch won't mind, probably, says SB, I don't want to get banned. So you are seeing the pixelated version of this, but this is my Instagram page first and foremost. And this is the piece I just overshared about. So you can see what I mean about the artistic nudity. If you want to go to my Instagram page, find this and scroll across to the uncensored version. I mean, you know, if you're really desperate to see Mr. Buttons' doodle, then I'm not going to stop you, but I can't show it on stream because it's inappropriate. Anyways, that's it. Hope you enjoyed. But, yes. Okay, I think, now that I've, like, done this, I'm realizing that there is a wet patch up here that's gonna need to dry before I, paint anything else over it. Though, it's fairly dry-ish down here, so I could probably get away with painting, like, Hornet's poncho, maybe, and her needle. So maybe I'll do that. Her little long sword. Turnip says, buy Sammy's Hollow Knight art and art in general. I highly recommend the shiny cloth picture and back to lurk. Thank you so much again for the lurk, and thank you for the ringing endorsement. I appreciate it. Oh, and thank you for the exclamation mark shop in the chat. Brings up a link to my shop where you can find all of the gubbins that I do that you can get. They're very silly, and I hope you enjoy them. All right. I'm going to start with this. This red, I think, is... I feel like Hornet's Poncho is a bit more of a muted red than this, which is a very bright, slightly cool toned, like a slightly blue toned red, I would say. So to mellow it out a bit and to deepen it a bit, a really nice way to do that is just to add a little bit of its complement. So I'm just pulling in like a whisper of this slightly warmish green to complement it.
Attention,
Twitch user Sammy Kelsch.
shoppers.
We have a raid! Hello? Hello, hello, and welcome in! Oh, Acorn, hi! Welcome, welcome! Hello, raiders! And thank you very much for the follow. Oh, geez, it's already gone away. Thank you very much for the follow, Lunacy Rising. And thank you also for the follow. Welcome on in, everybody. How are you doing? How was your stream? It's lovely to see you. Welcome on in. I'm just painting a little hornet right now. How many followers? Hello also, too. Let me just make sure I haven't missed anybody. Thank you to Averia, everybody. Welcome in. Skeleton Zio, welcome in. It's lovely to see you all. Hello, hello. How was your stream? What'd you get up to today? It's very nice to see you. Let me get a shout out in the chat for... I apologize if things are a little bit messy right now. I'm still getting used to this new stream software that I've only had for about 2 weeks. I have turned to the bathroom, says Acorn, but thank you for a fun place to land, and I can't wait to see how this turns out. Oh, thank you so much! It's just a silly little piece. It's just a silly little piece where they're having a lovely time. I did briefly lurk on Acorn stream a little bit earlier, and I saw some very nice things are happening. If you're not familiar with Sad Little Acorn, they do absolutely delightful work and are an absolutely delightful person as well. My moderator slash spouse has just come home, so I'm going to quickly... No, I'm not going to quickly say hi to him. He's disappeared. Never mind. Traylon, welcome in. Hello, how are you doing? It's lovely to see you. Welcome, welcome. And hello. Will Twitch let me scroll my chat, or is it going to be a weirdo? It's being a weirdo. Okay, let me... This stream software is being very strange about not letting me... letting me scroll back through my chat, but hi. Theo has mentioned that I do have a shop. Thank you for the endorsement. I appreciate it. But yes, hello everyone. I hope you had a wonderful stream. I hope you had a lovely time. I hope you're having a beautiful Monday, and I hope you had a good weekend. I hope those are all the good hopes. Traylon, thank you very much for the lurk, and hello. For anyone who's new here, allow me to introduce myself. I am a Twitch user, Sammy Kelsch. I'm a variety streamer. I do cozy art streams on Mondays and Thursdays. I do cozy game streams on Fridays, and every once in a while on a Thursday if I'm feeling spicy. I'm a watercolor artist. Mostly, I occasionally dabble in other media, but mostly watercolors. We're doing a little piece of Hornet from Hollow Knight because I'm feeling very hyped about a certain game that was announced
Attention,
this
Twitch
year.
user Sammy Kelsch.
So
shoppers.
We've got a raid. Hello. Hello, Sammy Ann. Welcome in. It's lovely to see you. And hello. How was your stream? And hello, Avery. Welcome in. Lovely to see you. Let me get a shout out for you in the chat as well. And again, if you've got any art that you would like to share, and you just rated, I would very much like to see it. Sammy Ann, how was your stream? It's wonderful to see you. Welcome. Lovely to see you as always, my friend. How was your stream? The double raid. What does it mean? What does it mean? Hi, everybody. Welcome on in. We were also just raided by Acorn, who is a wonderful streamer as well, and a wonderful artist. And I'm going to see... And they had to dash. They had to raid and run. So I'm going to see if I can just sneakily give them a little artistic shout out. Of some of the beautiful things that they've got going on their socials. And okay, I need you to see this one because it's my favorite. So I hope it's okay if I'm sharing. Doing some Twitch overlay updates this Sammy. And ooh, as always, if there is anything you would like to share, you want us to go check out your Insta or whatever, I would love to do that. Mwah, welcome home, Sunshine. My moderator / spouse just came home as well. Oh, what a wonderful day. So this is some work by Acorn, and you can see I have a vested interest in this because gnome dude, so stinking cute. I love it. I love it so much. So adorable. A lot of the ooh, nice. My moderator / spouse has brought home a food that we really enjoy. I'm very excited about that. As you can see, Acorn's art is just incredibly whimsical and sweet, and the kind of artworks that, case in point, I want to live in. Like, I want to live here. That would be nice. Please and thank you. So do go give Acorn a follow if you have not already. Let me get a shout out in the chat for that. Again. There we go. That didn't work. Okay, great. Yay. Did I spell? That's because I spelled it wrong. Hold up. Let's try that again. Okay, there we go. If you're not following Sad Little Acorn, you can go do that right there. And Sammy Ann, hello. Lovely to see you as well. For anyone else who's just come in on Sammy Ann's raids, hi. I'm a cozy. I attempt to be cozy. I do cozy art streams on Mondays and Thursdays. I do cozy game streams on Fridays and sometimes on Thursdays when I feel like playing a game instead. I'm doing some art of Hollow Knight, the Silksong thing, because there was some news about it last week, and I want to do something topical while I'm really feeling the vibrating with excitement. Because you know what? Now that that's happened, I'm really looking forward to it, actually. I mean, I was before, but I'm like extra looking forward to it. Anyways, how is everyone doing? How are you? It's lovely to see you all. And I hope you're having the loveliest of lovely days. I was having, to be honest, not the worst Monday I've had. Not the worst Monday I've had by a long stretch today. So, I mean, that's reasonably positive. I think Skeleton says I'm sitting outside with my cat. That sounds beautiful. I hope the weather is treating you well. It's going well so far for a Monday. That is like peak activity. I absolutely love that for you, and I'm so happy that you're having such a nice time. This is good, says Sammy, and Mondays can be Monday-y. It really is. It's a little chilly out, says Skeletons. Aw, geez. Well, I hope you're keeping warm in that case, or staying brisk and refreshed, as is your preference. I don't know. Whatever you feel like. I hope it's a good. Anyways, this is a work that Sammy M painted and posted recently, and I love it so much. This is the Fool, as in like the tarot card. And I just think it's such a fantastic depiction, and it's honestly so relatable. Because I too am extremely distractible, and it is a miracle that I am still fine. Because yeah, that is absolutely such a mood. I love this little character. I think it's such a wonderful interpretation of like the theme, and I also just think it's a really beautiful piece. But yeah, if you like whimsy and fantastical situations and just really cute artworks, gazillion out of 10, and also just someone cool to hang out with, gazillion out of 10, do recommend Sammy Ann's streams as well. So here's another shout out for Sammy Ann, who, if you are not following, you should go do that because it's a wonderful time. And I'm working on this little hornet. I guess you can see my artwork, what it looks like when it's done, which occasionally it is. I'm gonna get rid of the thing we were looking at earlier, and find you a more recent representative piece of artwork, shall I? Yeah, actually, you know what? You can look at these. I recently made a sticker sheet of just a bunch of plovers. Because they're some of my favorite birds. I am a plover lover, so I just painted a bunch of plovers. From the top, incidentally, that is a piping plover, a Caspian plover at a very interesting angle in the middle, a common ringed plover, and then on the bottom a pied plover, a shore plover, and a crab plover. Because I'm a plover lover. Yes, you do. I mean, how could I not? Look at them, they're precious. Anyways, But here's Hornet, which we're working on right now. Do you know Trisha Hall? She's an artist who also streams. I do know Trisha Hall, an artist who also streams. I love their work. I think it is delightful. Absolutely delightful. If you're not familiar with Trisha Hall, do recommend. Good shout, Skeleton. An excellent artist and a very fun person. But yes, Avery says Burbs. Hell yeah, I love. I'm very much in my bird era. I have like an increasingly lengthening list of birds that I want to paint. I want to paint some jackdaws. Jackdaws are another bird that hangs out in my neighborhood particularly. I'm really inspired by a lot of the wildlife that I see around me in my neighborhood these days. Which weirdly, because I'm in a landlocked county, oddly enough, not a lot of plovers. But I do see jackdaws, and I love jackdaws. And the gold crest don't see very often because they are very elusive because they're tiny. You can see why they maybe want to hide out because they're so tiny. There's a lot of sparrows about, but they tend to sort of congregate in shrubs. So you hear them, I think, more often than you see them, really. And also various varieties of tit. I saw some coal tits recently in a tree, and I was like, oh no, I'm gonna have to paint the coal tits because they're so stinking cute. So yeah, that's a thing that is happening. I spammed your Insta with likes as skeletons. Aw, thank you very much. Very appreciated. Thank you. Very much appreciate the kind support. I really do. Thank you. Okay. What else do I want to do here? I think the backdrop is getting dry enough that I could probably improvise in some foliage and stuff if I so choose, and I do so choose. I don't really have like a specific I didn't plan this with like, oh, I want to use this specific screenshot from the 3 seconds of the 12 frames of Silksong preview footage that we've had. I was just like, I just want to have her running through a little sort of thatch of greenery, I suppose, of some description. And so that is what I sketched. And so that's what I'm doing today. Had an okay Monday otherwise. I ate some rice noodles for my lunch. Arguably too many rice noodles, and I overcooked them slightly, so they were kind of mushy, but that's okay. I'm gonna raid and run, so Sammy off to do some errands. I hope you have a lovely, lovely errand run, and thank you again for the raid. Thank you. And thank you indeed for the lurk. I hope you have a lovely, lovely lurk. Anywho, I also have 2 cups of tea, obviously. This is a new tea to me, actually. It's called the Cat's Pajamas, and I was a little late starting stream because, as you can see, it's very heavy on the chamomile, and one of the things that is a struggle about chamomile is that as a loose leaf tea, it leaves bits. There are so many bits in this cup of tea, as you can see, because chamomile tends to, like, tiny little tufts of chamomile flower will break off, and it's like, it's so fine that some of it is inevitably going to get through your, like, fine mesh strainer. And I was trying to damage control that as best as I can. And this is like a blend of chamomile with lemon verbena and cinnamon. And I'm going to be honest, it mostly tastes of chamomile, but I'm fine with that because I haven't had a very almost but not quite straightforward chamomile tea in quite a while. So that's really nice. Skeleton wants to know where it's from. It's a Bird and Blend is the name of the brand. They're based here in the UK. They do ship worldwide. I am not sponsored, but you know, like if they were looking for like content creators, for lack of a better word, to sponsor, I would not turn them down. is how I shall put it. I would not turn them down. I mean, unless the deal was like terrible, but I doubt it would be because they're pretty chill. They're pretty cool. But yes, I'm liking this tea so far. I would recommend it. I think I was intrigued by the combination of chamomile and cinnamon because it's a flavor combination I've never had before, and so far I'm mostly just getting the chamomile, so I don't know, make of that what you will, but it is tasty. Anyways, just gonna give Hornet some eyes. There we go. And there it goes. Oh my god, sorry about that. Oh, I didn't think I had enough time to get to mute the mic before sneezing, and I didn't, and I'm very sorry. Okay, I have watered this down quite a bit so that I can get a nice little needle in here. This is Hornet's Needle. For anyone who doesn't know, Silksong is a forthcoming video game. It is the sequel to a video game called Hollow Knight, which I play on Fridays. Most Fridays I play Hollow Knight. Sometimes I play other games, and people get confused by that, but never mind. Bless you, sis Tals. Also, hello, Tals. Welcome in. Lovely to see you. Hello. Hope you're having a good one. My cat wants to go inside, but I'm enjoying the fresh air. Also, bless you, sis Skeleton. Thank you. I'm gonna have to mute for a second. I'm sorry, everybody. One moment, please. That's better. I felt like it would be better not to subject you to that. Because yikes. Alright, but I want to insert some slightly more detailed, slightly more abundant foliage and stuff into this. It's not gonna be like 100% sort of game accurate in terms of the aesthetic, because I am, as I say, just kind of playing and being silly and having a good time. I can see your VTuber trying to sneeze. Yeah, they also suffer from the snuffy nose, just as I. For it is me. That is I. And that is as close as you're going to get to a photorealistic depiction of what I look like in real life as a PNG tuber, I think. Like it's pretty ding dang close, I would say, to what I actually look like. Yeah. Okay, I think I'm actually going to pull in some of this yellow for some like highlighty bits just to make it feel very sort of fresh and verdant, this environment. I think that'd be nice. All right. And I think this paint can go on quite thickly. Did you paint your I did paint my PNG tuber. Yeah, that's me. That's one of mine. I don't think I painted it on stream, but I did paint them. That is one of mine. I paint, I think just about everything that's like a that's an asset of stream that wasn't a default that came with the like streaming software that I was using will have been painted by me. So yeah, anyways. Okay, I'm just adding some mossy textury foregroundy gubbins over here. I'm gonna make it, actually, could I make that even darker, I wonder? Maybe I should have. Anyways, thank you very much for the lurk, Skeleton. Thank you. Yeah, I feel like I could have made this darker, but I can add more layers to it as we go as well. But you see this in a lot in like Hollow Knight's game stages, that they'll just have like these sort of foregroundy elements kind of in the corners and stuff, and I think it can look quite cool. So I figured, what the hey, why don't I do that? This is very much this. I have no plan for this piece. No plan whatsoever. I'm just doing whatever I feel like. And also, I wanted this to be basically just a sketch because I didn't want to spend too much time on it. So I'm not spending too much time on it Ta-da! I'm gonna maybe pop some, like, maybe, I think that's a little bit too concentrated. Some little mossy patches on some of these little, the ground here and there. Because I think this is quite a mossy area. Maybe it's not a green path, but maybe it's like a green path-esque kind of area, because it's got that kind of mossy, planty kind of vibe. That's one of the, if you haven't played Hollow Knight, there's some absolutely gorgeous environments in it. I am a big fan of the green pathy type places and all that. I think it's very, very pleasant. It's one of the reasons that I'm doing a speed run of the game right now on stream, and I'm having a real time actually progressing at speed. And I think part of the reason for that is just that I don't want to rush through it because I like it. I don't want it to end that quickly, so I can't help but take my time, which is real goofy. But yeah. I am attempting. I mean, you can't expect Baby's first speedrun to be perfect, right? Right? Maybe I'll try again one day, and I will do it in under 12 hours. I think I'm currently on, like, 8 hours. It's not going quickly for a speedrun. Bearing in mind the speedrun record was recently shattered, and it currently stands at, like, 30 minutes and 53 seconds, which is crazy. But yeah. Anyways. Theo says this warm-up piece is looking very pretty. Thank you. This warm-up piece may end up taking the entire stream. Oops. As long as you run at some speed, you're speedrunning, says Tels. Thank you. I mean, I never profess to be good. So, like, you know. It's not like I bait and switched anyone into being like, oh, professional speedrunner. No, I'm a professional gamer nominally, because I play games live on Twitch, and I'm a Twitch affiliate, so technically the account is monetized. Every time you watch an ad, I get, like, a penny. And I'm very grateful. And I'm also sorry that you ever have to sit through ads if you don't have Turbo and are not subbed. And I would never expect anyone to sub just to not have to see ads, because that's silly. But yeah, anyways. But anywho. Okay. Hornet now has a floor to run on, which is good. Keeping her nice and comfy. And I'm trying to figure out what else I want to add in here. I want some, like, interesting, there were some interesting elements in some of the, like, screenshots that I've seen, so I wonder if I can maybe add some of those into the background a little bit. Like some plants with really huge leaves and that kind of thing off in the distance. I think that could be kind of cool. We have sort of like they had like big round leaves. Was kind of the vibe. So this is gonna be quite rough. I'm just sketching it in quite roughly, I think. Doesn't need to be super detailed, because it is just hanging out at the back. And I want to make sure that these feel a little bit backgroundy. Ah, geez. Okay. Sorry, I just had I just had a doodad pop up to tell me that we'll be catapulting into ads soon, which bleh, but I shall continue undaunted in the meantime. We'll continue with some foliage Maybe some more of these stalks over here. Another one like so. Honestly, I don't know how this is gonna look. I'm just goofing around at this point, but hopefully we'll end up with something vaguely interesting. Yes. Okay. I want to change colors. I want something a little bit more of like a yellowy green. I think that would be very, very good. Just gonna pop something into chat. Hopefully that worked. It's going to put us into an ad break soon. So thereupon I am going to BRB, because BRB is what I like to do when there's ad breaks, so you don't miss anything. And we will do a little bit of painting on this which was supposed to be our main piece for today, but oh, whomst knows, cause so it goes. But I think we can finish this relatively quickly and hopefully come up with something that doesn't look super weird, but trust the process. Anyways, BRB screen is imminent, so I hope you enjoy the BRB song. You get a song, which is always fun. And I will be back very, very shortly. Have a drink, have a stretch, take your meds if you haven't taken them yet, all that jazz. I will be back very soon. BRB. And hopefully we're back, everyone. Hello, hello, welcome back. Hope you had a nice BRB. Let's get out of here. Say goodbye to the BRB music. That's the wrong screen. Hold up. Wait, where's my art camera? Everything's still out of order in this this software. Thank you for the welcome back, Tels. Thank you for the welcome back, Theo. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. And thank you again for the lurk turnip. And hello, everyone. I hope you enjoyed your little BRB dances. But yes, hello. Hope you had a good break. I did. Beans! I should have asked my moderator / spouse what we're doing for dinner, because I forget which one I'm cooking tonight. I've got dinner plans for today and tomorrow, and I do not remember which one I'm doing today. Shoot. Oh, heck. Oh, no. Oh, no. Well, it's either soup or pasta, and I do not remember which one it was. It's pasta. Okay, cool. Awesome sauce. Well, I've got some pasta to look forward to, and that's exciting in that case, because I am very much a pasta enjoyer. Let's see, we have tomato sauce. We don't... Oh, no, we're not having tomato sauce pasta. I'm doing sausage and broccoli pasta. So that's going to have, like, garlic and parm. Because that is the vibe, I reckon, for a good sausage and broccoli pasta situation. Personally. That's my preferred vibe for it anyways. I'm adding in some little mossy mounds in the background. Hopefully they'll look cute. I am certainly aiming for cute. Little mossy mounds. There we go. And being very careful not to accidentally paint over a hornet. I do think one of my favorite things that I oftentimes do when I'm painting Hollow Knight stuff is that a lot of the environments are very sort of blue and gray, but they have some interesting undertones to them, and so I will use like very muted colors for like most of it, but then I will oh, the plants remind me of Stefania erecta, one of my favorite plants, says Theo. Oh, that's nice. I was not thinking of any specific plant, but I'm very happy for them to be Stefanias. Nice. Pasta soup, says Tals. I mean, I am putting soup in my I am putting pasta in my soup. I have tiny... There is a shop that sells very expensive gluten-free tiny soup pasta, and so as a special treat I bought myself a bag of it. It cost twice as much as a regular bag of pasta. So it's not something I intend to do very often, but I'm very excited by it. Normally I would make dumplings to go in this type of soup. It's like a spring vegetable soup that has like normally semolina dumplings, but I'm trying to figure out a way of making it wheat free so that I don't die. I had half a slice of toast yesterday, and I started having trouble breathing that night. So yeah, I still can't do that, it turns out. Whoops. It's one of those things where it's a fairly newfound, like, sort of, food intolerance, so every once in a while I'm just like, oh, maybe it was just a flash in the pan and it's not actually, like, a permanent condition, and so I will try eating something that I am not able to eat, and I will have a terrible reaction, and remember, oh, okay, so that still happens. So I can't do that after all. Alright, cool. Great. Good job, me. Glad I decided to just, verify. Just in case. And I still can't eat wheat foods. So, yeah, I'm trying to figure out a way to make something similar in taste and texture to the semolina dumplings that I used to put in my spring vegetable soup, but that won't, like, murder me. I'm wondering if I might be able to use, like, polenta as a substitute, because it's got a similar kind of slightly gritty, not gritty, but, like, toothsome. It's a little bit coarser than, like, just plain flour would be, sort of texture, and I think that might be the most effective way forward. But I honestly don't know. I guess we'll find out. What kind of soup are you making, says Skeleton? It's like a spring vegetable soup, so I'm going to be using like cauliflower, asparagus, carrots, peas, lots of paprika in the stock, and I also make little dumplings, but I'm just using tiny soup pasta this time because I haven't figured out how to do the dumplings effectively. In a way that is wheat free, so that's a problem for future Sammy, not a problem for right now Sammy, because I also didn't want to buy half a dozen eggs only to use up one for a batch of dumplings. So my thinking was to instead save the dumpling reformulation for when I am doing something else that involves eggs, and I am planning to make some Easter bread in like a week and a bit for Easter, and I need eggs for that because it is an enriched bread, which again I've also never made wheat free, so that's going to be exciting. And when I say exciting, I mean I'm terrified that it's just going to be like dense and unpleasant, so wish me luck on that, because I honestly don't know, and I'm having to make all of these like substitutions because as a baker is proving to be a real struggle, and I'm kind of oscillating between being really excited by the challenge and really kind of defeated by it, because it's like, yay, I'm putting in just crazy amounts of additional effort to produce something that I know is probably not going to be as good as the original. But I suppose it's better for me in as much as it's edible, so yay, question mark? Skeleton says, I love the Animal Crossing Legos on your desk. What, you mean Maple here? Maple's little pumpkin patch. Hell yeah, she is, we built her on stream. She is a very gentle creature, and she's just trying to grow some pumpkins, and we love that for her. I have a few companions here on the desk. I also have over here, I have a doggy who hangs out, is currently sitting on top of some paints and paint adjacent substances in their little squeezy bottles. And I also have my cow. Hello. She is the most beautiful creature I've ever seen in my life, and I love her so much. Theo says, I really hate that you've got the gluten intolerance to deal with now. Yeah, it's super fun. It is super fun. I'm having a great time with it. Hello, Dan. Welcome in. Happy weekday and time zone to you too. I hope you're having a lovely Monday. How are you? What's up? What is up, my friend? I hope you're having a good one. What is the dog? What is their name? I don't actually know. I don't know if we gave them one. I think they're so majestic that I don't actually know if we gave. I'll have to ask my moderator / spouse if he knows what the dog's name is, because I actually don't. I also haven't named the cow yet. I haven't landed on a name for the cow. I don't know. She's so perfect that no name feels quite perfect enough for her absolute majesty. I should at some point in the near future actually post that cow painting to my socials, because I was really happy with the way that it turned out. We painted a portrait of my cow, by the way, because of course we did, because I love her. Okay, so we've got some little mossy hillocks in the background here. These weird planty-doos. And maybe some more interesting sort of foliage, like even further behind that. Maybe if I take my super tiny little brushy here, and maybe I do like a little combo, like a weird combo. I'm getting weird with the combos here. I'm mixing some of this lighter moss color with our patina. I'm gonna water it down a smidge, and just have some little leaves popping up here and there for funsies, just to keep things interesting. There we go. I don't know how many levels of visual gubbins this all needs, but very mysterious, says the oh yes, very mysterious. Indeed. I don't know why I said it like that. I want to darken down these little sort of foregroundy chunks, so I'm just going to take this paint that I've already got and add some more to it. And just fill this in a smidge. And paint. And realize I don't have enough paint, and I should have used a larger brush for this portion, but never mind. We are not concerning ourselves with such things. It's all fine. This is very much just like very rough and sketchy, and something that I just wanted to complete relatively quickly, so. Cool, okay. I think I want to have some like hanging vines coming off of the top as well, just because I think that could look quite cool. So I'll do that once I've finished with this. There we go. All right. So, yeah, I want to do some like stronger foregroundy elements now. So I'm picking up a ton of this patina color, partially just because I think it's very pretty. And then just have some nice mossy hangy stuff descending from above. Various levels. And hopefully this won't end up looking stupid. And if it does, don't matter. We'll keep adding to it until I feel like it looked good. Yay! I would love to see more of these warm-ups on stream if they're fun for you to do, says Theo. Ah, thank you. I am having fun. I mostly was kind of wibbling and waffling about how to do the sort of flora of this piece that we started last time. So I thought I would just default to maybe doing a different blorbo for a moment and then coming back to it once I've had a bit of a warm-up. which I don't normally do. I don't know. It feels very vulnerable to do sort of warm-up-y stuff like this in a sense. Just because you're seeing me really not knowing what I'm doing and just kind of flying by the seat of my pants, even more than I normally do. And even just like painting on the internet already feels like kind of an act of incredible vulnerability, because most of the time as an artist, what you the public sees is very much like an edited highlight of what we actually do and sort of our process and that kind of thing. And I think it can be quite interesting to kind of have that glimpse behind the magic, but it's also really scary because you feel like every other artist out there has their shit together like 100%, pardon my French. And here I am just exposing like my whole confused, indecisive, flawed butt for the entire world to see potentially. And like including, all of the ways in which like I don't know what I'm doing a lot of the time. And here I am not knowing what I'm doing very publicly for a live audience, which is quite scary. It's also very, very fun, but it is quite scary. And I think I'm very blessed that in general, I would say like the art community here on Twitch and elsewhere is very, very welcoming, very cool, there's a lot of mutual support, which I really appreciate. And I'm so happy, excuse me, so happy to be a part of, but it is very much an act of immense vulnerability to put your work out there and put like incomplete works out there, just because we're used to seeing people presenting just the absolute best, like their complete works, their completed works, things that they've put a lot of time and effort into already that you don't see, and potentially like like a peek behind the scenes, but like it's a very edited peek behind the scenes, so it makes it look a lot easier than it actually is, potentially, that kind of thing, even if that's not on purpose. A lot of the time I think you can look at what an artist does and think, oh, it's so easy, and then you see someone sort of just being out there like, here's how hard this is, and you're like, oh, well, maybe you're just not very good at it, is what I wonder people might be thinking. I know, it's just these things do take time and a lot of work and indecision, and that's usually a lot of like secret background work that isn't necessarily shared, so to share that is scary. And it's an act of, I don't know, trusting that, like the people who do find you are going to find that interesting, that they're not going to judge you for, being maybe not 100, like having to change your mind and delete your art halfway through and do something different, yada, yada, yada. Which happens a lot. And, yeah, the warm-ups are very cool, so Skeleton. Aw. I mean, I call this a warm-up, but we're like an hour and 20 minutes into stream. And I stream for less than 3 hours on art stream days, because I do have to go cook dinner at some point. But, I'm gonna... Oh, dude, See, now I'm trying to decide. I was gonna put some little, like, sort of flowery doots on some of these, like, hanging, sort of weird, viney outcroppings, and now I'm trying to decide whether or not I feel like actually that would make it look worse. I don't know. I think what I am gonna do is just put a little sort of, like, just a tiny amount of detail into these big giant leaves at the back, like that. It's not adding much, but just because they are such just big abstract circles that I feel like maybe they should have a little a little bit of detail, but I don't want to add a lot of detail because they are supposed to be, you know, in the background, right? So, the tiny spontaneous paintings are very cool. Oh yeah, this is also an A7 size painting. You're not going to be able to get bags of detail into it, obviously. I've added some mossy doots down here, and I think I want to, because we're like right down in front here. I'm gonna do some like extreme foreground elements here, because you do see that sometimes in Hollow Knight, and it creates a great kind of sense of depth when they do that, and just have like some leaves coming up from somewhere in front of where Hornet is. Thusly. Like so. So I wanna maybe pop in a couple of these in sort of a very kind of silhouette color, I guess, if I can. Here, maybe another one just here, maybe just one hanging out down in front over here, maybe even, ooh, maybe even some elements over here. So I don't know. I'm just goofing. But sometimes it's kind of nice to just get a little bit loose, I guess. Anyways, but I'm glad people are digging the kind of looseness and spontaneity of it. I'm having a nice time, so I'm glad that others are too. Hooray! I'm gonna pop another one of these over here. There. I don't wanna throw too much into the foreground. I say adding like another thing. I feel like the levels are a bit off now. Actually, maybe what if I just make this one taller? Would that make me feel better about what's happening with the levels here? Maybe. Yeah, actually. I just felt like these two were like the exact same height, and that felt a little off balance to me. So I wanted to address that, I suppose. Okay. And then maybe just a couple of little pieces as well. Even smaller. Thus. Yeah! Ooh, I like that. Maybe one more over here. Am I done with the elements in the foreground? Symmetry usually feels bad in composition, says Theo. Yes, absolutely. You want it to feel a little bit sort of, you know, like you've got your whole rule of thirds situation. If things feel too level, I mean, you can use symmetry to great effect. There was, oh, what was it that I was looking at yesterday, and I was like, oh, that's good. Hold on, let me find it. That uses symmetry in a very effective way, but it's also very deliberate. And there is an element of asymmetry in it. But let me find. Let me see if I can find a decent picture. Oh man, none of these pictures are good. Is this picture big enough? Let me see. Open image, new tab. Yeah, that'll do. There's obviously a lot of symmetry happening in this piece, but I think it's it's very deliberate and it's very effective. This is a piece by Hilma af Klint, who did really, really cool stuff back in like the early 1900s. Kind of before anyone else was doing stuff like this, and as is so often the case, is not really very well remembered, despite the fact that, like, how cool is her artwork? So cool. But yeah, it does not get, at least, I think it's getting more credit these days, but for a really long time. Shell, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome in, Shell. I hope you're having a lovely Monday. Welcome on in. Thank you for the follow. But yeah. But in general, unless you're doing something that's very, I think, deliberate in that way, I think it feels better to have things not be, like, perfectly symmetrical. Balance is important. Symmetry, typically less so. I say as someone who hasn't taken a proper art class in about 25 years and did a very bad job when they did. Skeleton says, my mother and I ordered dresses from the same brand that match. Hers is long sleeve and mine is short sleeve. They're black with black. Oh, that's really cute. Love that for you. Balance and symmetry extremely different, says Theo. Yes, exactly. Exactly. You get it. You get it. This is feeling an okayly balanced, I think. So I think I'm just gonna I think I'm done with this piece generally, so I'm gonna pop over to this side of my palette, which for anyone who's new here, I, like, 2 to 3 weeks ago needed a little bit of neutral tint for a painting. Normally I use pans, but I happen to just have a tube of neutral tint watercolor. So I tried to blob out the tiniest blot that I could onto my palette, and it was way too much. And I was like, I don't want to just wash this away because this is a lot of paint. I want to be able to continue using it. So I just left the blob and I just cleaned my palette around that blob when it gets cleaned. So I'm just using it when I need, like, a dark gray / black line, like I am here. And yes. Oh, do I want to do a little bit of shading on Hornet's poncho? Yeah, what the hey? I'll do a little bit of shading on Hornet's poncho. Let me make a poncho shade color real quick with some of this red. I'm using a paintbrush that's probably too large, but I just put a whole bunch of line color onto my other one, so I'm just gonna steal some of you. And that'll do for some shading on Hornet's poncho. Nothing too crazy or complicated, but just a little bit where I'm pretty sure the pleats lie, because I can't see them very well now that they've been, like, penciled in, but never mind. Let's get some shading under the pleats, because I think it'll look nice. Okay. Maybe a little shading on this sort of collar bit under her chin as well. There we go. Caramba! I went to art school for 3 years a long time ago, says Theo. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I hope it was a pleasant experience. I've heard other people's experiences of, like, going to art school or doing art degrees, and I'm glad I decided to pursue other interests academically. Like, I did consider doing, I was more into, like, photography at the time, because I'd had a quite not awesome experience with, like, other varieties of fine art instruction up to that point. But I ended up doing other fields within academia. And I was very glad that I did at the time, and I still think that they were the right call for myself. I have a degree in cultural studies and like literature, literary theory, and a minor in psychology, in case anyone's curious. It is one of those things where, like, is it directly related to the work that I do now? No. I'm currently doing watercolor painting, but I think it was a useful, it gave me a useful skill set in terms of, like, knowledge and ways of seeing the world and thinking about things that I think has informed, you know, how I write, how I create, how I work in quite good ways, and I'm very happy that I did it, even if I did not end up, like, doing a doctorate or anything like that. Just because I don't know what the landscape is like back in Canada for, like, graduate studies now, but oh boy, it was not where I ended up wanting to be when I was finishing my degree. It was very clear that, like, okay, if you decide that you want to go do, like, a PhD and teach, you're going to be criminally underpaid and continuously overworked and probably have a breakdown within the first couple of years and have to move into another career anyway, so you may as well not bother. And so I decided, for the sake of my mental health, that I was just going to do other things with my life. And look at me now, I'm painting on the internet. I would say about 50% of the way through the edit of my next YouTube video, so you've got that to look forward to as well. Here's a link to my YouTube channel in case you're not subscribed and you would like to subscribe. You can. I'm making a video about soap currently. I really hope that y'all will like it. I'm very excited. I'm very excited for the bonus videos that will be going on Patreon subsequently as well. Though very much no pressure about that. That is a silly fun thing that I do. But yeah, it's the channel content is very different to, like, the painting and stuff that I do here. So yes, so no pressure. But if you like me being unhinged and silly, then that's the thing you can do. Anyways, here's what we painted as a warm up. That took an hour and a half. Oops. But I'm feeling warm now, so that's good. And sometimes it's nice to do something that's really low pressure and improvised and doesn't take that long. So this is probably a good precursor to the possibility of a Hollow Knight Art Month that may be coming up in the next month. I don't know. I think it's happening. Anyways, nicely warm, says Tals. Yay. So I'm going to pop this to one side and let it fully dry. Also, I like painting things in A7 size just because it's so teeny tiny and it feels really good to do. But yes, okay. All right, scooching this to one side. We've got my blorbows. I'm putting my blorbows into a situation, and the situation is an English cottage garden, because that's fun to me. I was very interested in photography too, says Theo. Hell yeah. Art schools are incredibly varied. Yeah. Some of them want to beat any piece of creativity out of you and only strive for perfection. Boo. Frowny face. I went to one of those. No, frowny face. I learned things I wouldn't have learned elsewhere and got better at art. Hell yeah. But I also wouldn't recommend that kind of school to almost anyone. Oh god, no. That sounds like my nightmare, and I would have washed out within, like, probably the first, I don't know, term or two of that kind of situation, just because, I mean, look at me. Yeah, no. There are, I think, I don't know, having heard other experiences of people going to art school, I know that there was a, I've heard from folks who were, like, you know, didn't really get much in the way of, like, direction or instruction or, like, guidance on how to improve at all. It was just kind of like, okay, it's oil painting class, have at it, and then you just paint stuff and you'd get graded on it, I suppose. And then I think one of the things that I do here also is art schools that you come out of it with, like, a reasonable portfolio of work and then absolutely no idea what kind of work you can do with it. Like, what jobs are there? Where are these jobs? What are the entry-level kinds of posts I should be looking for and applying to if I want to get a job relevant to making artwork? Or if I want to do, like, fine art and stuff, where do I find, You know, like, should I have an agent? Should I be, like, applying to galleries? Like, what do I do? And I had this experience as well as a student in... They've got a lot of nerve to grade if they don't instruct you, says Theo. I wholeheartedly agree. But I certainly had the experience of when I was doing my degree, and it came, like, it was basically a given. I did very well for the most part, as a university student, and it was basically a given that, like, if you want to continue in this discipline, you go on and do a doctorate and teach. But obviously, there are fewer teaching positions available than there are students. So, like, what the F are you supposed to do in that case? And I'm a swearwolf, says Theo. I mean, we can exclamation mark language you if you want. Hang on. There is an exclamation mark language in chat. If I say a swear, exclamation mark language me. Because I do occasionally. We are an adult stream for grown-ups, and I am an adult and a grown-up, and I trust that you are all above 18 as well. If you're not, don't tell me. Do not talk about your ages regardless. It's for your own safety, especially for those who are younger, and thus potentially more vulnerable. Anyways, what was I gonna say? Higher education. Yeah, it was kind of a given that, like, oh, well, you're going to do a PhD and teach, right? Because you seem pretty serious about that. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. But there was no guidance on, like, what to expect. What does the application process look like? Like, what are the means by which you can secure funding for these kinds of things? There was none of that. So, you know, the only experience that I had was that I had an older sibling who was doing a doctorate at a school in the States, which like fully paid his tuition and also gave him like an annual stipend. So he was being paid like a salary effectively to go do a dissertation, which is rad as heck. It was very clear that it was very unlikely that I was going to get the same treatment. I sure didn't see anything like that with any of the places that I was looking at potentially, like, programs and stuff in Canada, possibly because there just isn't as much prestige in cultural studies as there is in the field that my brother was in, and there isn't as much money, I'm gonna guess, because, I mean, he also went to a very, very highly regarded school that I think has a lot of funding because of that, but it meant that, you know, I'm here in, like, a much younger, much less understood, and much more impoverished field in a place where, geez, it's hard to even, like, you know, get, like, I saw people who were, like, you know, reasonably, like, somewhat not super senior, not tenured academic staff, making about as much money per annum as I was in a job that didn't even require you to have a university degree to begin with. Because I was working part-time throughout my degree as well. They were making as much money as I was, but putting in, I would say, about twice as much work at least. Because they were not only doing almost, but like, -1 a full course load as a professor, as well as doing all of the conferences, publications, supervisory work of, like, you know, graduate students, and all of the politics that comes along with working in macadamia. And there I was, going to my job every day, doing the job, finishing at, you know, like, this set hour, and then just getting to go home from that job. And not having to take any of it home with me, not having to worry about going on employment insurance, not having to worry about whether or not my contract was going to be renewed for the next academic year every single year. And so I was like, you know what? I'm not that passionate about this stuff, so I decided, get in the bin. I'm gonna not do this. And then I kind of floated around for a while, and eventually I met someone who lived in Oxford, and I moved here. I'd already moved to the UK at that point, but yeah. Anyways, but I'm still in the UK in part because I married a British person and I got a job here. So here we are, and now I paint things on the internet. Yay! Anyways, that was a long time. That was a very, very long time ago. I'm like 40. Sam says, "Welcome to life." Unfortunately, boo, boo. It sucks. Oh, but you should ask your guidance officer to help you with the process. Guidance officer. Fill out this personality chart before I deal with you. With personality chart? Oh, stupid. Dan says, your teachers probably asked you if there were any shifts going at your job. Honestly, like, not far off. Not far off. Like, it was bad enough that, like, part-time academic staff actually went on strike while I was studying at that university because they were just being horribly underworked, horribly underpaid. Their contracts were terrible. So they did actually strike to get, like, a better deal. And I think they did negotiate into a better position after that, but it still was not very good. And it just feels sad that you go through that many years of grind of your life to get a job that does not look after you, you know? Like, the institution will not love you. It just won't. Anyways, we had the associate professors go on strike during my bachelor's, says Sammy. Oh my god, did we go to the same university? Don't answer that. But yeah, not an unusual circumstance, to be fair. I'm pretty sure that there have been strikes. So I currently work in a non-academic field of higher education at a university in the city that I live in. And it happens, says Dan, Joe and I went to the same one. Hey! Nice. It is a tiny world and a tiny country. But yeah, there's been at least one, if not more than one, strike of I believe academic staff since I have worked, and I've worked where I'm working now for like 10 years, so academics keep needing to strike because, man, they don't want to pay them very well, and it sucks. Anyways, I doubt it very much, says Sammy, and yeah. But not surprised to hear there are multiple strikes going on in the province/country. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, there were also at some point strikes at my day job as well, come to think of it, but that's completely different because that was a whole other field at the time. Basically, before I moved to this country, I worked in a library while doing a degree. But yeah, the school charges so much for tuition, and where does that go? Asks Sammy. That is a great question. That is a fantastic question to which I do not know the answer. Could not tell you. Because apparently it doesn't go to the people who do most of the grunt work actually providing us with an education. We need art. Anyways. We need art. More art. More art. Okay. Alright. Okay. I hear you. I'm listening. And I'm learning. And I'm going to try to be better. So. Let's do some artwork. So I kind of roughed in that I wanted to have some, like, funky little climbing plants happening against this wall. So I'm just gonna pop in those líneas so we can see where I need to eventually put, like, leaves and flowers and stuff. I'm not quite 100% matching the pencil lines that I did because I'm silly and I can't see all of them very well. But it also doesn't matter that much. This is all gonna get this is gonna get filled in quite a bit with, like, with leaves and flowers. I'm not entirely sure what this plant is, but it's something that climbs up your wall and has flowers on it. You know, the fun. Love the discussion isn't fun. Just sometimes two gentlemen in love trump the rest. Yes. Very true. I haven't decided what book he's reading, but it is something very poetic, I think. Very poetic indeed. Some kind of lovely love poetry, I think. I don't know. I'm not a poetry expert. I didn't do poetry. I actually avoided doing poetry when I was when I studied things because it wasn't really my bag. Oh my goodness.
Samian Art cheered. X100. This is a world I wish I could crawl into.
Oh, Samian, thank you very much for the 100 biddies. Very much appreciated. I too wish I could crawl into this world. I feel like it would be a nice place to be. Very much I do. I think I'm very happy for these fellas. I don't know if you can see. I wanted to after painting it last time. After stream, I ended up trying to add a very subtle, sort of slightly lavender toned stripe to this fellow's necktie, which is a little crazy, a little colorful. I feel like it doesn't really show very well, but it's there, and I know it's there, and sometimes that's the most important thing. The stripes are precious, says Samian. Aw, geez, no you. No you. Thank you very much indeed for saying so. That's very sweet. Yes, I love that it is a surprise to find, says Samian. Oh, that's very sweet. Thank you. Now again, I think part of what I was kind of like, I don't know how to best do this, is that I was trying to figure out whether sort of what order to do, because I know I want there to be sort of like flowery gubbins on this like sort of climbing plant that's kind of growing from behind these bushes up onto the building by the windows, and that I want the shrubs to have some flowers as well. I was thinking I want some purples in here. I was thinking like a nice sort of bold like heliotrope situation, because I'm just really feeling that. I think it would be nice. Oh, Theo says, I sent my friend a screenshot and a link of your hornet painting, and she said that's absolutely amazing. Oh, that's very kind. Thank you. Thank you. Once again, for anyone who's just come in, this is the sketch that we did for starters. It's just a little sketch of Hornet going through some mossy landscape, as you do. That was fun to paint. But this bad boy is still very much in like an ugly duckling stage of the painting, which I feel like is one of the most... I agree with her, says Theo. Thank you. I am rather pleased with it, it has to be said. Well, it doesn't have to be said, but you know, hey, I'm saying it anyways because I can. Just trying to figure out what I want to do in terms of the flowers and whether or not I want there to be any flowers kind of in front of the shrubs, because otherwise we've just got sort of a patch of green grass with nothing, and I don't know if that's super interesting to have. Or if I just want to maybe just pop some little... I don't want to get too naturalistically... I don't want to get too naturalistically detailed about, like, would these two types of flowers be blooming at the same time? Because I will lose my gosh dang mind if I try and do that too much. Like, I think we're thinking spring, but it's okay if some of these flowers aren't flowers that exist in real life, right? Right? But I've got some little like primrosey type things that kind of just grow sort of in the grass near sort of where my house is, and I was wondering if I could maybe put some of those sort of down on the grass here near the blankets, and then maybe have some bigger flowers kind of hanging out in front of the shrubs a little bit, and then have the shrubs be, you know, sort of filled with little lovely little bundles of little heliotrope flowers in beautiful shades of purple, and then have a lot of leaves and flowers coming off of these vines. But the question is, what do I paint in first? And I think I need to go front to back. I think I need to go front to back, because otherwise I'm painting on top of stuff, and that gets into weird questions of, you know, I don't want the flowers in front to just I think it would go badly. Is what I'm trying to say. So I think I need to go front to back, but that also feels weird to me, because normally I feel like going back to front makes more sense in my head. But just in terms of, like, practicalities, I think I need to go back to front. Or, sorry, I need to go front to back. But the opposite feels like it makes more sense to me to do. Huh. Okay. I think I brained that out. I think we've brained it out. I think we're good. I think we're okay. I think, yes. Okay. So, I'm gonna set down some colors for the doing of these things. I'm gonna need some more green for some greens. And then I'm gonna need some flower colors for just a little patch of foreground grassy gubbins. I don't know. Oh my goodness. Mesh, hello, welcome in. Mesh says this is going to take me a second because my German is very rusty. But, ich wünsche dir einen wunderschönen und erfolgreichen guten Tag. Well, guten Tag to you as well. Thank you. Thank you. I'm not sure I'm feeling quite as much as wunderschön, but I'm definitely feeling pretty alright. But thank you. And hello. I hope you are well. I hope you're having a beautiful Monday. It's very good to see you. Hello, hello. I'm just making myself a little pocket of green so that I can come make good use of it later. I'm gonna need a nice thick yellow as well, because this yellow actually sometimes can have a little bit of opacity to it. So I can pop some of this yellow on top of this green and I think have it achieve a reasonable effect. I'm not sure what it is that they did to this some of the colors in this range can have a little bit of opacity if they're not super not all of them are super, some of them are more transparent than others, but some of them are not super transparent, and this yellow is not one that's super transparent. So it can be quite useful for situations where I'd like to layer it on top of something that might actually be darker and have it be visible. I'm just picking up some of this color, and I'm gonna blend it with this color to make a kind of red situation. I think that should work quite well. Oh wow, Theo says, I'm Norwegian and understood everything but erfolgreichen. Erfolgreichen. Impressive. Successful. Amazing. Delightful. We love to see it. That is genuinely, I didn't realize that Norwegian and German were that similar. Heck. Well, if I ever visit Norway, maybe I'll be sort of okay. Consequently. I don't know. I understand a majority of the Scandinavian languages too, and Dutch, says Mesh. And then there's Finnish. I mean, Finnish is a whole other kettle of linguistic fish. It's just, it's out there being technically in the Scandinavian family of countries, and yet its language comes from a completely different language tree. Nominally, supposedly, it has more in common with Hungarian, but as someone who understands some Hungarian, I can tell you I do not understand any Finnish. Finnish is a mystery to me, except for the names of some Moomin characters because of a Moomin film that I watched that was in Finnish and then subtitled in English. So I can tell you that Snufkin's name in Finnish is Nuskamuikkunen, which I think is so stinking cute. Mesh says, I do love that one oddly specific Finnish word, though. Which oddly specific Finnish word? I got to know. As far as the languages of Northern Europe, I did study German for a number of years, and I have visited Denmark, and know a couple of Danish words, consequently. Super useful words like hi, which means hi. And tak, obviously. Not obviously, but it's thank you. And strawberry, obviously, the most important thing. Mesh, thank you for the 3 steaks. I hope you enjoy your 3 delicious steaks. Thank you. I know the Danish word for strawberry, which is jordbær. And, there is a Danish dish that I have been wanting to make for a little while, and I'm scared to try and say it on stream, because it is very hard to pronounce. So I am outsourcing it to the Translate app. Because I'm not going to be able to do it justice, but I want you to, I want to just put it out there. Anyways. So, Danish. Doot. And I think it's the, I don't know the official name for the R, like the O accent that has the line through it. But you see it a lot in Danish and a couple of languages in that family. Yeah, it's the anyways, it's kind of like
rødgrød med fløde.
That. I have been wanting to make for a while, but it's also a really hard Danish thing to say. My experience with Danish tells me that if you see letters, there's a 80% chance that you don't pronounce them. So, yeah, it's tough. Danish and Norwegian have the with the O with the line through it. I don't know the official name for the with the line through it. But yeah, Danish, Norwegian, I think 1 or 2 other languages, but don't quote me on that because I'm not sure. We're about to catapult into a BRB, so I'll be back in a second, and I will tell you how many languages have that accent when we get back. So please enjoy the BRB screen in the meantime. A BRB! Okay, so we're back. Education time. Let's talk about languages. Oh, shoot. Hold up. Wait a minute. I goofed. I haven't... Sorry, I switched off the light because I was away and I didn't want to wear the battery down. So, technical difficulties for just a second while I switch the light back on. Alright. Should be okay to go back. And now, let's talk about Nordic languages. Because it's fun. Anyways, I can tell you, I wasn't sure whether or not the O with the line through it was a letter in Faroese, but I thought I was pretty sure that's another place I'd love to visit someday, but it's, man, I feel like it's going to be a hard place for somebody like me to visit, but I'd love to see Faroe, the Faroe Islands, because they are so heckin' lovely. Anyways, welcome back, everybody. Hi. And also the Southern Sami language also has the in it. Anyways, so that's that. We've got some linguistic facts in the chat from Theo as well, who says with the line is a separate vowel apart from the other ones. Indeed, the Norwegian and Danish alphabet have I think, and o at the end, which is the a, sort of the a and e smushed together, the o with the line through it, and the a with a little circle on top. And then the e and the o are also their own letters. Yes. The Swedish alphabet also has 29 letters, but their extra vowels are a with the umlaut on top, u, which is an o with an umlaut on top, and the same o, which is one of my very favorites. I wish we had it in English. It just feels good to say o. I don't know. It just Anyways, but I'm also not a native speaker of it, so I'm probably doing it super wrong. But you get the idea. Anyways, so now you know some things about some languages I don't speak very well, or at all. Hurrah! I'm potentially going to Sweden soon. I've been looking at taking myself and my moderator / spouse on a little holiday for a few days, and it's a country that I haven't been to, and it's also a country that crucially sells the muesli bars that I got hooked on in Denmark. So, friends, I know what I'm making space for in my suitcase, and it's like extremely basic muesli bars that they just happen to not really be a thing that they sell much here in the UK. You see flapjack much more than you see like muesli bars, and it's a different kettle of fish. And sometimes I want a muesli bar. It's different, and I like them. A good way to plan future travels. Honestly, I absolutely plan around, like, is there going to be snacks? Is there an interesting and good metro system? Like, these are my priorities. 100%. Public transit, food, everything else. This is just what I know, says Theo, and absolutely not conclusive with regard to Nordic languages. It's very interesting, though. I think it's so interesting. What vowels do other languages have? I like that. Anyways, I'm looking forward to having an adventure figuring out how all of these letters are pronounced in Swedish if I do go to Sweden, because again, I'm familiar with the A umlaut, the O umlaut, and the O with the little circle on top of the A, but I don't know if they're the same. Also, my limited experience thus far of like the Northern European languages are things like when and under what circumstances do I actually pronounce the G in this word? Do I pronounce this T at the end of this word? When do I do that? Is that do I pronounce any of these letters? Anyways, Samantha, welcome in. She says, hello, I've survived another workday. Congratulations. I've made it for you not to be already mid-raid. Yay! Yes. Theo says, I wrote Maka with an accidentally in chat the other day. Very embarrassed. I mean, why? Why though? It's all good. Unless I pronounced it weirdly because I saw that there was an accent. We're learning so much in this stream, says Mash. I am, as you can tell, I'm an enjoyer of these kinds of things to learn. I think it's a good time. So I'm here for the language learning hours. It's fun. Yeah, even if I may not be super good at pronouncing all of them, and I apologize. Because, again, lots of these are languages that I don't speak. La 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 la. Do. I wanted to look up some pictures of some primroses to kind of get a feel for what I'm trying to do with them, and accidentally went to the videos tab, and I'm like, no, I don't want to see videos. I just want to see some pretty pictures. Okay. They are quite cool, but I think I'm going to need to start with you. Make sure it's nice and clean, but then I'm going to dry it off because I don't want to introduce too much more water to it because I want us to be able to see the yellow centers of these otherwise quite deep red flowers. Sammy's educational hour is almost as fun as Sammy's Grand Corner, says Mesh. Oh, jeez. Anyways. Samantha says, how dare languages put letters in words only to not pronounce them. Now, excuse me, I need to send a letter from Edinburgh to Loughborough. Oh, I know. The glass houses of English, in that respect. Intense. Absolute gosh dang glass houses right there, for sure. For sure. And I'm very, very aware of that. As someone who is a transplant from another country to the U of K, I have been caught out by some by some English place names that when I heard them out loud, I was like, hey, excuse me? I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what? Excuse me? For instance, I'm gonna spell it out in chat as I say it. Cirencester. Now, if you're familiar with places that have a Cester in the Englands, most of them, you would expect the Cester at the end of the thing to be stir. You ignore several of those letters. Leicester, Gloucester, famous examples. This place? So I was like, Cirencester, when I saw it written down, because I was familiar with the linguistic conventions of Leicester and Gloucester. Do you want to know how to pronounce this? Because I was just thrilled to learn. Cirencester. Pardon my French, are you fucking kidding me? I hate it here. What the heck? Rude. Anyways, that's like one of my favorite examples to bring up because it was just so unexpected and rude. Worcestershire says, says Mesh. That's one of the things I love about Worcestershire is that Americans, and I think Canadians to a lesser extent, really struggle with Worcestershire. And what you need to remember about Worcestershire is, again, ignore most of the letters in it. Just imagine that it's Danish. Because it's spelled phonetically Worcestershire, or Shire, I suppose, if you're a hobbit. But it's pronounced Worcestershire. Like Bertie Wooster, sure. There you go. Like he's just asked you, I don't know, if you'd like a cup of tea, and you're you don't really care either way, and you're like, Worcester, sure. There you go. Anyways. I say Shire, says Mash. I mean, listen, I'm 5 feet tall, and if I don't shave the tops of my feet, they do grow hair. So, not in abundance, but like, I don't know, half a dozen, I'd say. I come from fuzzy bear stock, so I consider myself a bit of a hobbit. And I've got big old hobbit-shaped feet for my height as well. Samantha says, the amount of time I lived in Oxfordshire before I was able to connect the road signs advertising Bicester with the place Bicester people kept talking about. Oh yes, Bicester, which I'm very disappointed to learn was not like the bisexual capital of England. Because it's not pronounced Bicester, it's pronounced Bicester. Again, just ignore several of the letters in it. Very rude. It has one of those, like, designer outlet shopping centers that I'm given to understand is very popular and do not see the appeal of. It's like, ooh, do I want a super expensive Coach purse that's ever so slightly less expensive? Because I bought it from an outlet? No, not really. Because I didn't want one in the first place. But then I've never been a big designer person. In general, I would rather have something that is, you know, if I'm going to buy something that costs a lot of money, I want it to be because it was extremely well constructed and will last me a super, super long time. And I have no guarantees about that with designer stuff because I assume a lot of it, not all of them, because I'm given to understand that, oh, which brand is it that's actually very mindful of, how their work is produced. I think Hermes bags are actually very artisan made somewhere in France, but a lot of them are just made, you know, on the same sort of mass production scale as anything that's like 10 times cheaper than like hand stamped or, you know, had like a buckle added to it in Italy so they can say that it's made in Italy. And you spend £1,200 on it, and that's not my bag. Even if I had £1,200, I wouldn't do it. So I've never been to Bicester Village, because it seems like expensive things but cheaper shopping center. And that's the only thing I know about Bicester. And also the fact that, yeah, if you're English, it's pronounced Bista, and not Bicester. So there you go. But my favorite place somewhere in the vicinity of where I live, and I'm pretty sure this is how it's pronounced because I heard it as such in a video once that was about back in like the 1960s when Oxfordshire was getting its first color TV transmitter. It's a place, the place name is spelled, popping it into the chat in case anyone would like to see it, Towcester. Towcester. How is it pronounced? Toaster. Toaster. As in the thing that makes your toast. I love it. Tal says could be anything. It's toaster. It's toaster. That just makes me incredibly happy. Is that enough little primroses? I think that's enough little primroses because they'll have some little greeneries and stuff around them as well. So I think I'll leave it at that for the little primroses. I don't want to overburden. I don't want to make the piece too busy, but I still want to feel it. I want to choke on my tea. Apparently, and try not to die. But yes, toaster. That is a fun game, I think. Going to a place you've never been to, trying to guess how place names are pronounced, and just getting it horribly wrong. I am sure when I've been in foreign cities and I'm, like speaking with my person about, like, he'll be like, what stop do we need to get off at? And then I'll say the name of the stop and other people are listening to me and they're like, no, it isn't, because I'm horribly mispronounced it. I remember there was a situation like this when I was in Brussels, which you may know is a multilingual city in a multilingual country. And I had presupposed that this one stop that we were getting off at on the metro, it looked like it would be pronounced in a French way to me, based on my knowledge of the languages spoken in the country. Turns out, according to the announcer on the tram, was not pronounced in a French way. And so several people overheard me saying it very incorrectly, and I was ever so embarrassed. I don't remember what it was, but yeah. And I mean, obviously, like, every place name that I encountered when I was in Denmark, trying my best. But also not very good at it. No choke, please, says Tals. I'm trying my best to not choke, but I make no promises. Okay. Alright, so the little primroses that I'm kind of being inspired by, because I've got a bunch of these near my home, are these ones with this sort of like dark red with a yellow center. So hopefully I can do it. I think my brush needs to be a little bit more wettened than it was. I think that might help a smidge. You do see a lot. I think the primrose that you see the most of is like the very pale yellow with a brighter yellow center. But since I've already underpainted this in green, that would be very difficult for me to produce unless I had, unless I was using like an opaque white on top, or if I was using like gouache instead of watercolor. But I've been looking at getting myself some gouache paints. I was going to just be like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to spend 20 quid on a little set of, like, just small tubes of, like, 12 colors of artist gouache paints, right? I don't know which gouache is the best. I hope that Holbein is good, because I was looking at getting the Holbein ones. But then I went to Jackson's art website, and friend... friend, they had a sale on watercolor. And mistakes were made. And when I say mistakes were made, I mean, mistakes were made. I got some inexpensive little tubies. Specifically, I got myself a tube of the reformulated quinacridone gold from Daniel Smith. I got a tubie of the reformulated quinacridone gold from Daniel Smith because there's a story behind this. So quinacridone gold paint used to be made using a pigment whose pigment code was PO49. This was largely manufactured, I think, actually for the automotive industry, and like its use in art pigments was like a byproduct of that. Anyways, it was discontinued by the one manufacturer that made the pigment. So, paint makers scrambling to find a reasonable substitute for it. And the formula that this company settled on was PO48 plus, I think, PY150. So a combination of sort of a more burnt orange color and a more like a brighter yellow to produce this gold, and it's gorgeous. It looks really beautiful. But here's the thing: the one of the pigments that they've used to replace the discontinued pigment has now also been discontinued. So at some point they're going to have to reformulate this when they run out of their stocks of this no longer being produced pigment also. And I was like, oh, that's a little bit special. That's a little bit rare. So I want to get one. So I got one. That's the story of that. I just wanted a neat sort of yellow color that is at some point going to be hard to find. Anyways. Oh, geez. Okay, so Theo says, I once walked down a busy street in a very light, very flowy dress wearing no undies. Oh, goodness, on an extremely, extremely windy summer day. Warm yourself on that when you feel like you did something embarrassing in public. Oh, my friend. Oh, my friend. Tal says, happy little accidents. Oh, my friend. So, in solidarity, I'm going to tell you an embarrassing story about myself. And I hope that this makes you feel better about that happened that one time. And that is, it was a beautiful summer day, and I was on my way to run some errands in the center of town. I had to return some things to the library, and I had to visit a couple of other shops. It was a beautiful sunny day. There was no indication of any other weather that was going to happen. It was beautiful. It was sunny. The weather forecast said beautiful sunny day. And that's what I dressed for. I wore a nice sort of like olive green colored maxi skirt and just a nice light white top. But, you know, like a thick enough white top that I could get away with not wearing anything under it. And then, moments before I stepped off the bus at my stop, the most extreme freak hailstorm I have ever experienced. There was no indication this was about to happen. It was a beautiful sunny day until literally the moment the hailstorm erupted. And in the time it took me to cross the street to the library entrance, my entire self was fully soaked to the bone. I had to go to the toilets in the library and wring out my garments in the sink. But when I tell you, I got a lot of looks. A lot of looks from some very perverts. Every single one of the perverts. You shouldn't be looking. For the rest of the errand running day. So yeah, solidarity. With that being said, Theo says, free the nipple. Did you know that it was someone in my former city of residence in Ontario, in Canada, who, in a precedent-setting appeal, was fined for taking her top off on a super hot summer's day whilst walking around, like, the city. You know, she was traversing from somewhere to somewhere else. It was stupidly hot, so she just took off her shirt on her way. She was fined for public indecency, and she's like, what's indecent about it? And she was like, no, this isn't indecent. A man can do it. I should be able to do it too. This was back in the early 90s, I think. And it went in, you know, she could have just paid the fine and gotten on with her life, but she was like, no, I don't think this is just. So she appealed the decision. It went to reasonably, you know, sort of like senior court in Ontario, and eventually they did concur that no, it isn't indecent. and that, yeah, you can. So there you go. Thank you. Her name is Gwen Jacob, and we celebrate her, and I will not do that because I am shy and I do not wish to be perceived. But technically, in Ontario, I can, and it's thanks to Gwen, so good job. Anyways. Were the books okay, says Dan. Thankfully, it was just VHS tapes that day, because this is a long old time ago, and they still loaned out VHS tapes at the library at this point. It was probably some VHS tapes of like British TV program. I don't know what British TV program, but probably a British TV program. Something like the Six Wives of Henry VIII series from 1970, or like Faulty Towers, or Are You Being Served, or I don't know. Anyways, but yes, and now you know. Samantha says, I do believe Sammy wished their nipples were a little less free that day. I did wish that they were a little bit less free that day. I hadn't planned for it, and I did not feel comfortable. And I did get a lot of looks. And they shouldn't have been looking, the perverts. Anyways, Theo says, neither snow nor rain nor hail will stay these nipples in their duty. In fact, the hail wants to help, apparently. But I'm very glad to provide solidarity there. Anyways, so yeah, my point is, I bought some fresh watercolors, instead of the gouache that I had planned to buy, because it was on sale, and I am incredibly weak. Especially when paints are not super expensive. Love that for me. Anywho, I'm gonna finish painting in these primroses, and I guess we didn't really get a lot done on this painting, but we did start and finish another painting, so I guess that's pretty good. The warm-up ended up taking up the bulk of the actual art doing this stream, but I don't know, I just really wanted to do a topical little hornet, because she's been on my mind for the past 5 to 6 days quite a bit, and I think actually for a piece that I didn't plan at all, I think this turned out pretty okay, so yay. Good job, me. I don't always feel super proud of and good about. Actually, I think most of the time when I finish a work, I would say like at least 8 out of 10 times, I feel solid and good and happy about the way that it turned out. And then I post it online after a time, and it's a crapshoot as to whether or not social media will be a I will just post it and then forget about it, or social media will be a make you feel bad about yourself machine. It really varies. Anyways, my shop had an update recently. Here's a link to it in case you missed it. I have a lot of stickers and sticker sheets and stuff. I do have a limited edition Hollow Knight artwork, if that's your bag. Among other things. I have a painting of these two in front of an antiquarian bookshop in London, if London is your bag. I also have a bookmark of a very famous bit of Copenhagen, if Denmark is your bag. Among other things. I also have some other vistas of London. Some fantastical vistas that don't exist in real life. All kinds of things. Free the Hornet, says Samantha. Release Silksong already. Listen. Supposedly, it is coming out sometime this year, so here's hoping that is accurate and correct. I am quietly, I think I've said this before, I'm quietly confident. I'm quietly hyped. I'm also quietly, there's also a very real possibility that they'll be like, Silksong 2025. They haven't given a release date yet. It's very possible that they will reach like November of 2025 and be like, well, it's gonna be 2026. Sorry. Like, I don't know. Maybe even June, says Tals. Yup, who knows? They might just drop it, like one day you just check the Silksong, like, shop page and there it is. They might. We don't know. I will believe Silksong is being released only when I hold it in my hand, says Samantha. That is, honest to goodness, such a mood. Like I said, quiet hype, but also It's been 84 years, and I think a little bit of skepticism is probably a safe way to think. Yes. Anywho, emphasis on the maybe stalls. Yeah, exactly. Anyways, what's for dinner, chat? What's for dinner? What are you enjoying for your evening meal? I am having I'm going to be cooking some gluten-free penne pasta, and I will be serving it with purple sprouting broccoli and a vegetarian sausage with probably some parm, some fresh garlic, olive oil. That's about it. I like this method of like small ground flour doing, which is effectively like the fried egg method. You start with a little yellow doot in the middle, and then you just kind of put a blob around it, and it'll probably look kind of flour-ish. I mean, obviously, this is a very cursed fried egg because they are the color of beetroot, but you know, this is a very beetroot color actually. I dig it. It's also very primrose though, so that works. Hopefully. This piece is feeling very unbalanced and weird at the moment, but hopefully on Thursday we'll be able to balance it out and finish it. I like doing these pieces that take a little bit longer on stream, but I also think it's nice to do things that just are like one stream. But we're also possibly doing a prompt list for May, during which I will be speed running my artwork, so I'm kind of enjoying doing things that are a little bit more time consuming in the meantime. Alright, we've got some little patches of primroses happening here and there on the there. Looking forward to this pasta because I haven't had it in quite a while. There are certain things that I really only like to buy when they're in season, like purple sprouting broccoli. To be honest, I don't think you really see purple sprouting broccoli when it's off season. Because I don't know if a lot of other countries nearby like purple sprouting broccoli as much as we do. But I do love a PSB situation. It's delightful. Ooh, Tal said stir fry, yummy tofu, edamame, broccoli. That sounds really good. Love a tofu situation. Love that for you. Delightful. I don't know what I'm doing with the sort of. I want to put some flowers, maybe some fairly like low hanging flowers, and maybe some taller ones here and there, just to get some interesting levels into the garden, sort of towards the shrubs at the back. We'll try and make it look nice and balanced, I hope. Right now it looks weird. I feel like this artwork looks weird. Okay. So my neighbors are loud, so I'm gonna raid. I'm gonna call it there and go cook dinner. But thank you so much for hanging out with me, everybody. It's been very, very fun. Thank you again to Sammy and to Acorn for the raids as well. And thank you everyone for being here. Whether you're new or old here, thank you. I really do appreciate it. And I love hanging out with y'all. You're cool and great. Yes. Anywho. I'm gonna take a look and see who's online. And then I'm gonna go boil some pasta, as you do. Anywho's. Have we said hi to Perrin recently? I feel like we haven't raided Perrin in a while. I feel like it's been a while since we raided Perrin, so let's go say hi to Perrin. If you're not familiar with Sab, aka Perrin, they are super sweet, very cool, do really lovely sort of like fairies and other sort of lovely creatures type artwork, and their style is very cool. Ooh! It looks like they're doing some portraits of someone's character, which is very fun. And also they're just a little fairy that hangs out on stream, so it's a nice time. Gonna get a generic raid message in the chat. For you to feel free to copy the raid call with the emotes if you have the emotes. If you don't have the emotes, you could just say a generic raid message and or append whatever cool emotes you do have if you would like to do so. I'll be back on Thursday, hopefully finishing this little garden party piece. Figure out what sort of romantic love poetry our little our little fellow is reading to his companion. Yeah, we will finish this little cottage garden and these little fellas having a gay old time. Yeah, in the meantime, I hope you have a lovely rest of your week, and it's been lovely hanging out. I hope to see you again soon, and take care, everyone. And where's my thanks for watching screen? There's my thanks for watching screen. Good night, and good luck.